Hi, welcome back to Let's Taste It. This is an olive, and the little red dot in there is called a pimento. It's a type of chili pepper, also referred to as a cherry pepper because of its red color and heart shape. But why are pimentos so commonly stuffed into olives? And why are olives stuffed in the first place? And what about black olives? Well, today we're going to find out. Let's dig in. Olives can be stuffed with a variety of different things. Almonds, a clove of garlic, anchovies. I personally like to stuff my olives with blue cheese, but the most popular stuffing, here in America at least, is of course pimentos. Of all the chilies, pimentos are among the mildest on the Scoville scale, ranging between 100 and 500 heat units. In contrast, a jalapeno has between 2,500 and 8,000 heat units. A habanero has around 150,000, and the Carolina Reaper has an insane 2,200,000 heat units. Due to their mild, almost sweet flavor, pimentos are perfect to offset the bitterness of olives. An olive that comes off the tree is so bitter it's essentially inedible. The bitterness is caused by a compound called oleuropein, which is a protective property for the olive. It keeps mammals like us humans away, but birds have no problem with it, as they simply swallow the olive whole and later dispense the seeds, thus propagating olive growth. To make them edible, the oleuropein compound is leached out of the olive through a process called curing. The fastest and most efficient way to cure olives is by using lye. If you've seen the movie Fight Club, you know that lye is used to make soap and can leave you with a nasty chemical burn. But don't worry, food-grade lye has to meet very strict FDA guidelines, so you're not at risk of being hurt by lye-cured olives. However, many believe that this process leaves the olives far less flavorful. You can also cure olives in water, salt, or you can brine them, much like you would to a cucumber when making pickles. The longer an olive is fermented in brine, the less bitter it is. Once the olives are brined, their seeds are removed, leaving behind a little X on the bottom and a hole where the seed used to be. These holes are naturally perfect for stuffing. But hang on a sec, that's for green olives. Why aren't black olives stuffed? Well, the simple answer is that they are, just not as commonly as green ones. The only real difference between green olives and black olives is ripeness. Green olives are picked before they ripen, while most black olives are allowed to ripen before they're picked, thus resulting in a much softer olive that is far harder to stuff. Black olives are also less popular than green olives, often considered cheap by many, so they don't usually get the stuffing treatment. Most people probably get green olives in a jar and black olives in a can, with the exception of something like a Kalamata olive. Cans labeled California ripe olives are unique because unlike other black olives, they're picked while they're still green. During the brining stage, air and water are bubbled inside the vats, oxidizing the olives and mimicking the ripening process. This procedure is a perfect breeding ground for botulism, a very rare illness caused by toxins produced from bacteria. In order to kill the bacteria, these black olives have to be heated to very high temperatures. Metal handles heat far better than glass does, hence why black olives typically come in a can. Fun fact, black olives tend to have a slightly higher oil content than green olives do. Olive oil is one of the most common cooking oils in the world. In fact, the English word for oil is derived from eleia, the Greek word for olive. Many olive oil labels read extra virgin. This means that the oil had to meet very specific standards, such as containing less than 1% fatty acids. It is also the purest form of olive oil and retains the most olive flavor. Another common thing you'll see on olive oil labels is first cold pressed. This means the olives were pressed only once to extract their oil and were always kept below a certain temperature, around 80 degrees. Also, no chemicals were used during the extraction process. Heating the olives and pressing them many times would produce more oil, but it would be stripped of all its nutrients and would be generally considered an inferior product. Aside from its normal culinary application in things like salad dressing, olive oil has a myriad of other uses as well. The ancient Egyptians used olive oil for many things like medicine, perfume, skincare, and sacred rituals. It also proved to be an excellent source of light when used in lamps. At one point, olive oil was even used in the Olympic torch, in honor of the game's Grecian heritage. Speaking of the Greeks, the city of Athens was named after the goddess Athena after she created the olive tree. And since olives are stone fruits like cherries or plums, that technically makes olive oil fruit juice. However, if you're making a dirty martini and it calls for olive juice, it's really referring to the brine the olives come in, not olive oil. While the origin of the martini itself is debatable, the dirty martini was most likely invented in New York in 1901. It's called dirty because a typical martini made from gin and vermouth would be clear. However, the olive juice makes it cloudy, or dirty. In filmmaking terms, the martini shot is what you would call the last shot of the day before wrapping up the set. It's called this because the next shot would be taken out of a glass, in other words, a post-wrap drink. I think this is as good a time as any for my martini shot. Let me know what you like stuffed in your olives down in the comments. That should do it, and thank you very much.